It's a special edition of our first NBC Bank video preview here at SportsNola.com. Lenny Vangilder, Ken Trahan. We switched seats because this guy knows more about high school football than you know about anything. So, Ken, we start with the playoffs. Week number 2. It's the quarterfinals for some. It's the regional round for others. Let's talk about the regional round first of all in the non-select, and we'll begin with Class 5A. In fact, right here at SportsNola.com tomorrow night, we will have one of those games for you. Trahan East St. John, a District 7 5A rematch, 7 o'clock Friday night, live right here at SportsNola.com. Let's start with that one, and then tell us your thoughts on that and the matchup you're most looking forward to this weekend.
Well, that's a tough game, rematch game for Trahan. And East St. John had a 14-0 lead the first time around, and Trahan came back to win. I think the Wildcats of Trahan have the best personnel in the class. But East St. John's good. They're athletic. They're at home. They have really good receivers, Xavier Lewis and X Factor. So this figures to be a good game. You need to watch this one at SportsNola.com because it's going to be good. I think Houghton has a real chance at home against Hahnville, but I like Hahnville's chances on the road against Houghton. I think Hahnville's played some very tough competition, and they're getting healthier, and I think it serves them well. I think they've got a great chance to win in that matchup. And I really think that two other matchups of intrigue are Mandeville. Mandeville plays great defense, and they're on the road, but I really think Mandeville can win this game. And then Acadiana Ponchatoula. The Wrecking Rams killed the Green Wave in the playoffs last year. This is a different year. Ponchatoula is great. I pick them to go to the Dome, but Acadiana is Acadiana.
Some great matchups. And oh, by the way, if Trahan beats East St. John, if Hahnville beats Houghton, just saying, start lining up now at Trahan for next Friday night, where it will be round 2 of that matchup between Hahnville and Trahan. Wouldn't that be fun? On to Class 4A, and of course, a lot of local intrigue in this bracket as well.
Yeah, I think so. I think when you look at South Terrebonne and Franklin Parish, this could be a really high-scoring game. Wing T offensive, Franklin Parish. South Terrebonne's only lost once, and that was to Warren Easton. They have to go a long way, but it's a good matchup to say the least. I think Benton at East Jefferson. Benton's a 4C, but East Jefferson is a live underdog at home. They've been there, done that, and they're playing much better with Morris Sarah at quarterback. And an athletic matchup, I think, is LaGrange, the 11th seed, at Landry Walker, the 6th seed. These two teams really athletic. I mean, there's some terrific players on the field in this one. That figures to be a close game, though I like Landry Walker.
Another one, of course, out of town, and the car headed to North DeSoto, and what figures to be a close one as well. As you look at Class 3A, tell us your thoughts there and what most intrigues you this week.
Well, I like Union Parish to win a class, as I said last week, but I think the game between LaRanger and Patterson is a good one. I picked Patterson as my dark horse team to get to the Dome on that side of the bracket. They're at home. They played a really tough schedule early on, and LaRanger's a good program, so I think that's a really good matchup. And I would not rule out North Webster at Church Point. North Webster's played good competition. Church Point's the 2 seed. They're really good, but I think this is a good matchup, better than the seeds would indicate.
We move on to Class 2A. Your thoughts there and what you're looking at this weekend.
Well, I mean, as you look at 2A, I think the 9A matchup is the most intriguing. St. James at Laurelville. This is an even-Steven matchup. Boy, I flipped a coin 3 times before picking St. James to win on the road in that game. That's really tough. I like Sterlington to get to the Dome. I think they're very good. The other matchup I think is a pretty good one is South Plaquemine at home as a low seed at 23 against Springfield. South Plaquemine shocked Oak Grove last week, who's a good team. And being at Port Sulphur, I think South Plaquemine has got a real chance here as the 23rd seed.
We'll trip down the highway there for Springfield to get all the way down to the bottom of the state. And then finally, Class 1A, we look at the last of the non-selects playing their regional round this weekend.
Yeah, Oberlin and Kentwood is a good matchup. Oberlin's a 13 seed, but they're probably a little bit better than that. I think that's a good matchup. I think Block and Plain Dealing is a really good matchup. 2 Northern Louisiana schools that know each other a little bit. Plain Dealing, which is also known as Louisiana New Tech, is a good football team that is a dark horse to get to the Dome. I think those are the 2 games I'd watch for.
Yeah, and 1A is the one bracket where there were byes, so those top seeds got last week off and get ready to play for the first time this week. Speaking of byes, there were a lot of them in the select side of things. So you've got teams that have advanced straight to the quarterfinals, 4 of them in Division I, where obviously a lot of intrigue in the New Orleans area.
And you know what's really interesting? 4 great matchups, but of the 4, the one that's probably least competitive is the one that's always been the best. John Curtis and Evangel. 8 straight years they've played. I think Curtis is much better, though, and I think they'll win easy at home. The other 3 are really good games. Brother Martin, a live chance on the road at Catholic of Baton Rouge. That game live within Ken Trahan's original prep football report on WGSO 990 AM on Friday night. And Catholic's got the best running back in the state and a great kicking game. St. Thomas More at home against Jesuit, mirror images. Really good teams. It's an even-Steven game. Flipped a coin there, too. Ultimately went with the Blue Jays, but stay tuned. And then Turling's Catholic with with the biggest quarterback you'll ever see, Cole Kelly at 6'7", 235, and they throw it everywhere against Rummel. Saturday night, that one's live on Fox Sports 1280 a.m. here in the market. So these are all good games.
Be interesting to see who survives the weekend and heads to what could be a very intriguing semifinal round come next weekend. We move on to Division II, and against some local interest, we start right off the top with two area teams, two district rivals in St. Charles Catholic and De La Salle meeting for the second time this year.
Yeah, touchdown game the first time, and after that game, Frank Monica said distinctly, the one team I don't want to play again is De La Salle. He's playing De La Salle. But he's at home. They've been there. They've done that. They know this. I think De La Salle is the growing program, a chance to break through now. They're going to break through in the future because they're young and they're really good. Hard to go against St. Charles Catholic at home, though. The other matchup that's really good, I think, is Parkview Baptist as a 7 seed at the number 2 seed, St. Michael the Archangel. Listen, St. Michael's had a great year. They've done a great job with this football team to get where they are. But, boy, having to play Parkview Baptist as a lower seed, that's tough.
Indeed. On to Division III and some intriguing quarterfinal matchups here as well. You know, I'll tell you what, the place to be Friday night, I think, is in St. John Parish. You could literally drive around within a 5-minute drive and make it to 3 different games if you wanted to hop, skip, and jump. And one of those is in this division with Riverside Academy and St. Thomas Aquinas.
Yeah, and St. Thomas Aquinas, John White's done a great job, and Dantzler's a terrific athlete, might keep them in this game, but Riverside's so good it's hard to go against them. The matchup that's really the best one is Opelousas Catholic and Newman, but the most intriguing thing here is they met last year. Opelousas Catholic won at Lupin Field 28-26, and both teams' best running backs may be out of this game. So you really don't know what to expect because of that, but Newman having Jay Tyler at quarterback, look out. That's a difference maker. And, of course, North Lake Christian, extremely well coached under Tony Agresta, but really tall timber having to go to Catholic New Iberia, who averages 50 a game.
Finally, Division IV. Not the local teams pretty much out of this one, but still some good storylines as we see it.
Well, I think that Washita Christian is a lower seed, again, with the kind of program they have to travel a long way to go play Central Catholic down on the Bayou, but Central Catholic's good. Washita Christian's good. That's a really good matchup and a tough game to pick at Morgan City. And then Southern Lab, the 5 seed, the most underrated team in the bracket because of their record and the schedule they played at home against Ascension Episcopal. Gotta like the Kittens in this one.
Yeah, it's a good time of year, and as coaches always say, you win this one, you're practicing Thanksgiving week, and that is really a great time of year. We're closing in on Thanksgiving next week, and we'll be getting even closer to the 9 matchups in the Dome split over 2 weekends this year. Ken, I know you're looking forward to it. You'll have a good one Friday night in Baton Rouge and Saturday at Joe Yenny.
Indeed, my friend. As always, a pleasure. Look forward to the weekend.
All right. That's a special edition of our first NBC Bank video update as we preview Week 2 of the high school football playoffs. There's no other place to be than right here at sportsnola.com for live coverage and, of course, the best scoreboard in Louisiana presented by the All-State Sugar Bowl. So check it out.